What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to today's episode of Solutions. I'm Cam.
I'm Jay Villa.
And on today, I'm going to be discussing the top 3 things that I wish I knew prior to going to my HBCU. He did not go to a HBCU, so y'all going to get kind of a diverse feedback video. So make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and enjoy the video.
I went to Alabama State in my head, and I was in the band.
He's delusional. You know what I'm saying?
I played football my whole life, but I was in the band at HBCU. I was actually a drum major in my head at Alabama State between 2006 and 2009.
That's what like delusional means, though. You know what I'm saying? Believing something is not.
I played at the University of Wisconsin, Whitewater, 2-time national champ, played on ESPN, all that good stuff. But for some reason in my head, I went to Alabama State, and I was a drum major.
Honestly, I really feel like if you a young black individual looking to go into like professional workforce, not just traditional, but like people say white collar, and I'm actually going to touch a little bit on blue collar as well in this, but like I do strongly encourage you going to HBCU. One thing that I can say is you really just gotta go check them out. Do tours. If you can, tour the dorms, see how the people in there are living. Me coming from Chicago I went to Southern University in Baton Rouge, Southern A&M. Go Jaguars, you know what I'm saying? But came back after my first year because of the way that the system was set up. And honestly, I wasn't paying attention to detail the way that I should have been as far as how my education was being paid for. So that was a sticky situation, man. I'm kind of going to jump into that. But the main thing, I feel like a lot of the younger generation, our people are so pressed on, making it out of the hood. I believe that college isn't a scam if you pick the right industry. I always said previously, like, I'm not for or against college. That's still honestly my belief because it's based on your opportunity. But like, I actually got some of the top majors. So a couple high demand skills include like computer science, information science, or you can get a MBA, which is like a master's in business with a concentration in data analytics, cybersecurity, AI management. If these sound like a little too far ahead for y'all, you like, I can't even do high school math, definitely look into the trades because with HVAC, electrical, plumbing, things that you can do with your hands, what we call the mechanicals, the trades, those are skills that no one can take from you. And that's a sector where you have to be specialized. You have to know what you're doing. Nobody can just come in and apply like to be a cashier. Like that's a specialized trade. So it's always going to be a demand for that. It's an AI resistant industry. We at least 50 to 100 years away from robots being able to replace pipes and being able to diagnose problems. So that's what I say. Like if you really contemplating going to school or not, like that should definitely be at the forefront. Like what major am I getting? Like don't just go to school because people telling you to, because that'll make you worse off than you already are. I say go when you have an idea of the sector that you want to go into or what you already been pushed into. I was leaning towards the trades before I even went to school. Ended up with a major in architectural engineering. Came out and ended up right where I was supposed to be. So before I talk about the HBCU experience, which is exactly what people chalk it up to be, I ain't gonna lie. It ain't played down on social media, none of that. And I'm not even a rowdy person, but before we get to that, you went to a PWI. So what led to your decision? Like, did you want to go to a PWI? Whitewater was where your scholarship was? Did you want to go to HBCU? But what was the thought process?
So I did want to go to a HBCU my whole life growing up. I actually wanted to go to a school in Florida, whether it was HBCU or not. But I did, honestly, I used to watch School Days, the show School Days. He's a YN, so you probably don't know. Not a show, it's a movie. School Days is one of my favorite movies. So I used to watch that back in the day, and that made me want to go to a HBCU. So I did. But when it came down to college being paid for, went where the money was. After, I visited and stuff like that, made sure it was good. I wasn't just going nowhere. So yeah, that's how I got to the University of Wisconsin. Whitewater on the football team, all that good stuff. It was fun there though. I met, I would say the black people that were on campus. So out of about 12,000 students, 2,000, 2,500 at the time was black. It's a lot more than that now. Was black, and most of us did stuff together. The Black Student Union was bussing. We had BSU meetings. They was every Tuesday. Like I would leave football practice, heading over to the BSU meeting. You know what I'm saying? The back to school parties was cracking. You know what I'm saying? We had the Divine Nine. We had everything. You know, we had all of the fraternities, sororities. He don't like fraternities, sororities, but it's big on HBCU campus and culture. So we had that on my campus and everything as well. So I really don't feel like I missed out on too much except like the HBCU culture, and I feel like our dorms was better. In my field, I visit a lot of HBCUs, visit most of them, and they all need work as far as the living, the dorms. Every single last one, from Howard to Clark Atlanta to Morehouse to Alabama State to Alabama A&M to Southern University to TSU to Texas Southern University to Tuskegee to Fisk University I'm naming them. These are all places I've been to. I'm serious. These are all HBCUs that I personally have been to, and we've taken our students there, and they need work. Like I walked in some of these dorms like at HBCUs and was like, what?
I mean, our dorms, he mentioned Southern. When our freshman year, Jones Hall had just, first of all, Southern was insane. Coming from a high school student to college in general was a lot, but I moved from Chicago/South suburbs, like Northeast Illinois, put it that way, to Louisiana, to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. First of all, my roommate, he from Logansport, which is northern Louisiana. I thank God that he was nothing like the BR and the New Orleans dudes that was going to school there, because, bro, all you hear same Rob 49 song every day. It was a curve. It's a curve by whatever the gym was called. I forgot. This was years ago. Man, that made me sound old. For context, I'm around graduating age. I'm 21, turned 22 this year. So, like, it was a curve by the gym, and you could hear like the bro, if you don't know what like Nola Bouncy is, like you gotta look up their music, because Louisiana music is so funny. Like it make you want to dance, and I can't even dance to save my life, but it does make you want to dance. Like even me, like
you can't dance for real?
Nah,
I've never seen them dance, but you can't dance.
I mean, I'm an athlete, so the closest that I could do is like ladder drills, but bro, dancing is like, unless it's like Jersey. I really like Jersey Club for some reason. You ain't gonna hear that on campus, but bro, my roommate was blessing. So like, if you know somebody else that's going that's the same gender as you, especially if you a first year, bro, try to book like get a dorm with them. Or if you're gonna get an apartment, bro, get an apartment with some people that you trust, like that you done grew up with. And even then, it's deeper than you being friends with them. Like, you gotta know how they do business. Like, how do they handle money? Like, have you ever lent them money and they paid it back when they said they was gonna pay it back? Because when your credit is on the line, when there's money involved, you see a whole different side of people. I didn't inherently go through this, but I've spoken to people like somebody's dad or another individual that they have an apartment, but it was with her twin sister, so it actually worked out. Like, bro, be thinking about that. Don't just be, oh yeah, like the dude whose daughter, it was his daughter and 3 other girls, and they was like, yeah, 2 of them gonna put their name down, and the other 2 just gonna contribute. The other 2 backed out completely. And the other girl, she just didn't care because they're in college. I'm an intellectual. His daughter, they was like, she trusted her friends. And the rest of them, they was not who she thought they was. They did not show up for her. So be considering that going into your 2nd, 3rd, 4th year, however it's worded, sophomore year.
You ever loan somebody some money and then they get mad when you ask for it back?
Not mad, but bro, people owe me at least $1,000 right now.
I don't owe it. I am not some of those people. You've loaned out that much money where people owe you about $1,000?
Yeah.
Bless you. God bless you, honestly. I've had situations where I have loaned people money, $50, $75. I'm talking about siblings, close friends or whatever, and it's, weeks or a couple months by, I might need that $75. I might be a little tight to Friday. Hey, bro, you got that $75? Dang, I was gonna get it back to you. But you said you was gonna get it back to me a while ago.
Nah, for real.
I just ain't been bugging you for it, but I'm just, asking you for my money back because you was in the bind. Now you got an attitude with me. Now I'm cut off.
No, for real.
So I don't loan money. I tell people that all the time. I don't really loan money anymore. And I'm glad people don't really ask me for money, honestly, anymore either. If this young fella was to need something, of course, he don't need to loan. I'll just look out for him. And that's how I am. Like, when people sometimes do ask, I don't loan out nothing. I just can't give out.
I get a Glock 26, bro.
You cannot. At
See,
the moment.
Shoot.
You I'm glad you shot, and I shot it down.
Wait. When you go to HBCU campus, that's one thing that you're going to learn is that shooters shoot. I'm not gonna talk about this time I tried to talk to bro. So oh my god, bro. So I kind of gotta go into it. Okay, so this is BC camp before Christ. This is BC camp. When I came back from Southern. This was like 2022, May 2022, I came back from Southern, and God was like, you are chosen, many are called, but few are chosen, and I'm changing your life. And he, if y'all seen the video where I crashed my mom's truck because I was being disobedient. If y'all haven't, y'all should definitely go check that joint out, but this is BC.
Out there clothes burning.
Relax. This is BC, so I was doing whatever. I wasn't doing whatever though, so my boy Jay, he was my roommate. It was this girl in his class, and I wanted to talk to her because I seen her. Bro, I'm not gonna tell us. Bro, I'm not gonna tell that story. I will tell y'all a different one though. So it's a game night. So it's me, my boy Ash, who was in the same suite as us, Jay, my roommate, and Chris, who came from Chicago with me as well. Chris, they family originally from the West Side, and they moved to Madison. Like that's when Chris was in when Chris
Olympia
got
Fields.
into high school, huh?
Olympia Fields.
No, they in Madison.
Oh, they in Madison. Okay.
Yeah, when Chris from the roomies, when Chris got into high school, they moved from the West Side. So he was in my trunk party, and that's how we just ended up being cool. So we do a game night. I forgot who. I think we was connected to them through Ash. So if y'all don't know anything about HBCUs, we play cards. You have fun.
We did too at our PWI. We played cards and stuff like that.
But we was all black.
We was all black too. It was the Black Student Union.
But that was like the 2%, not like anybody on campus.
But it was still hundreds. Still was hundreds of us.
At the union, they playing the piano. You got Pretty Wednesday. You got Black Excellence. You got
all of that. Had all of that.
Bro, what's to you, bro?
I'm just saying we had all of that.
Bro, this is advertising for HBCU.
I'm just saying,
not about PWI.
But we not gonna knock my PWI though. I'm just saying.
It's not about that though.
Okay, we gonna advertise the HBCUs. Okay, let's advertise.
That's what it's about, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't turned off. But I've seen so much of these HBCUs that they need to improve on. I encourage you to go to a HBCU. I definitely do, because there's definitely some good ones. They're definitely, got good dormitories and all of that stuff like that. But we got a lot of work to do in our HBCUs, because I just don't understand where a lot of the donation money that these celebrities are donating, like where is it going? Like when Diddy gave his $5 million, to Howard and stuff, even though they've given it back. Amid the allegations and stuff, so that goes to show you ain't use it. You didn't put it where it needed to go, because you gave it back. You just said, here you go. That $5 million need to go in these dorms, so the mold and mildew and stuff can go. I'm not down in the HBCUs, because I love HBCUs, but we got work to do, because these PWIs is stunting on us. I'm just being honest. I go to a lot of PWI schools too on these college tours, and
well, put it this way: to make it solution oriented, we've clearly identified one of the problems. Y'all see housing. I had given my perspective on housing. Jones was perfectly fine, even though that was the first time I had ever seen a roach in my life. Yeah, it was a little rough, but it's fine. That's what happened when you got teenagers. That's why I say go tour the campus first. Back to the game night. So
y'all had roaches.
It was in the hallway.
Still, it was
like
in
first
there.
week. Yeah, it was first week. But I made sure all my stuff was either in tubs or off the ground. Ours was dope. Jones was super dope. I went to Southern University freshman year. You got Tidy, you got Shade, you got Jones. Tidy and Shade was for the females because it was so many of them. And Jones, I think it was like 1.5 times the size of Shade, whatever. Bro, I digress because I'm not finna speak about that. But, bro, game night, we was in Tidy because I ain't never been in Shade before. We was in Tidy and, bro, I'm trying to like censor this story, bro.
I mean, just say what the TI is. What y'all did.
Oh, so I personally, we was doing like a drink or dare game, and I don't drink, so I'm reading it and I'm doing the dare every time. But the thing is, if I read something I didn't want to do it, I just put it back while everybody was talking. Cause the female, first of all, I go to a HBCU. Why am I talking to a Hispanic? Let's start there. But this was before I had the scales removed from my eyes. You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking to basically one of the only Hispanics on campus. So Kim, this was my first time meeting her basically. And it was me, Ash, Jay, and Chris. And then it was Maya, Nia, Kim, and Brayley. So Chris and Brayley couldn't be farther apart, bro. It was so funny. Like, Chris, you know how Chris is towards some people. Bro, Chris is very lively towards me, Jay, the boys. Bro, when he was around Brayley, you could just tell, like, he was literally like, no, I'm not doing that. And he was like, I'm not drinking. And Jalen and Ashley was doing everything. And I'm just like, I'm leading the conversation. So I'm like pitching in so they don't peep me putting back the cards that I'm not finna do with shorty I just met. Bro, I get a card. The worst card I got was giving a hickey. So we had to go in. We went in, I think that was Maya room. Bro, they beds was super high for some reason. That twin XL, that joint had to be like 4.5 feet off the ground. Bro, that's huge.
I'm sorry. So, we play games, but one of the cards was somebody had to go give you a hickey.
That was probably, no. So the card said 30 seconds of heaven. So, bro, we go in a room and I'm like, what are we supposed to do? Because I was never like just finna crush anything. Like even at that age, I wasn't on that for it. Well, I wasn't that like that. I wasn't a hoe. So I'm like, I think it was her idea. Bro, I got on cologne, I got on YSL, like good cologne. She gave me a hickey and she was like, don't wear cologne next time. And that's when I knew like, this is not the place for me because what are you talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's a part of how, up north at least, that's how you move.
Pause. So she gave you a hickey?
Yeah.
Like she just was in there just sucking on your neck for 30 seconds?
Yeah.
And then y'all walked out? What is
it was
this
a little
like?
longer than 30 seconds.
What is it, 6th grade?
It was, so that was probably the least vulgar card. Like I said, I was looking at cards.
So what was the other cards saying?
So,
cause what is the name of this game? We played Mafia when we was in college. Like we was around a circle playing Mafia. Now at the private parties, you know, we would play games like Circle of Death.
Y'all had Diddy parties, bro?
No, we never.
Oh yeah, that's definitely going in the thumbnail. Diddy parties.
We didn't have Diddy parties. Now there were some after parties. Anyway, at the main parties, we would play like Circle of Death, where you put a deck of cards around a cup. That middle cup has like a triple shot or whatever or something. You know, you pull your number. You know, they had like 2, everybody to drink, 3, the person to your right, 4 for hoes, 6 for dicks. You know, that means 6 mean all the dudes gotta take a shot, 4 for hoes, all the girls gotta take a shot. You know what I'm saying? Every number meant something. You know, so we had that, but if you broke that circle, you gotta take that triple shot in the middle. So we played games like that, but back to this game, what was like if that was like the least vulgar, What were like the other cars saying?
Bro, two out of us 4 had to enact scenes in front of the. So we playing music. Bro, like, it's only 4 of us, so y'all can do process of elimination, bro. But these 2 niggas, bro, was like, bro, they was wildin'. I ain't gonna lie, they was wildin'.
What was the scene? Do we need to say it off camera?
No, I mean, bro.
I just want to know, like, the scope of, like, what was this game?
Bro, so they gotta, it's like drink or dare. So you read the card and you gotta either do it or you gotta take a shot.
I get it.
So,
but I want to know what was more vulgar than this 30 seconds of heaven.
Bro, he was them 2 was basically air humping them girls in front of us, bro. Like, literally.
Oh, they was reenacting a scene.
Bro, one of them on the ground, bro, cause like he not like big, but he like, we athletes. So had her on the ground. Bro, long story short, bro, if you're gonna go to parties, do it in like moderation. Like that's definitely one key thing that I wish I would have did had I, committed to school for real. Like, definitely leverage your network. Like, don't allow your parties to take you away, because you're gonna hear like Southern is a party school, but college, you're gonna feel like your degree is useless if you don't network while you're at school, because networking is literally everything. Even if you get blessed enough to build a relationship with somebody to end up connecting you with an employer or whatever, like, it's really networking. Because say you set to graduate, I was class of 2025, like my boys finna graduate this year. Bro, if you go and you do an internship 2 or 3 of those years, you set up for success that much more than the next person, because you graduating with months, if not years of experience at that point. And that's huge for you. Nowadays, they looking at experience opposed to just you having a degree. Because they literally was like, larger corporations, bro. I remember I was pressing them to do it, like an MBA. Bro, larger corporations are turning away MBAs. As y'all can see, when I shared the MBA, I gave specific concentrations because it's too many of them. And it's like, they was like, the skill level is not there. They was like the return on investment, because the MBA, you gonna make like 150 plus. You gonna graduate with a 6-figure job. Like, you going to school and getting an MBA, is you almost guaranteed a 6-figure job if you doing it right, if you got the right concentration. So these employers, they like, the return on investment ain't there. And for my entrepreneurial minded people, it's one and the same. Like, if you consider dropping out of college because you want to start a business, like, based on your business model, that actually may be the wrong way to go. You may be able to scale, like, say you got a clothing brand, you able to scale by selling your clothes to the people in, you know what I'm saying? If you make, like, if y'all familiar with Game Changers, you make Game Changers style graphic tees, but out of the athletes that are on the team. Down south, the bands get more glory than the athletes, which was crazy for me coming from up north. Idolization isn't good regardless, but for me back then, that was insane, because I'm a former athlete, bro. Coming as a point guard, seeing the band, bro. I'm at a football game, niggas in the band like, oh yeah, we got more holes than y'all. I'm like, bro, y'all are strings and percussion. What the hell are you talking about?
They got more hoes than y'all,
bro. That was crazy.
The HBCU bands, them the popular motherfuckers, them the people that's it, the majorettes, you know what I'm saying? Those are the celebrities of the school. People come to the games to see the bands. Unless you got a kid or a family member on the team, people come to the game for the band. That's why you notice at a lot of these games, after halftime, if you're not staying to see the 5th quarter battle, the stands thin out. Even when I played at my school, now mind you, we a national championship team. A lot of teams we was beaten by a lot. It wasn't like close. So like after halftime, people was like, oh, we had a nationally ranked band too. We had a white band. They was nationally ranked on the white side. We had our stands on our home side fit 15,000 people. Mm-hmm. About after halftime, about 7,000 of those 15,000 people would be gone. We'd be looking at the stands like, I see my mom, my sister. Like, you can start to notice where your people at, because it ain't crowded. Like, they done seen the band. we up by like 30. You know what I'm saying? People like, oh, we going back to the tailgate. We going back to the tailgate, put some more brats on the grill. Now, you know, it's the PWI experience. But in the HBCU world, it's the bands. That's why I say in my head, I'm a drum major at Alabama State University.
Bro, whatever your school version of Pretty Wednesday is, you need to have at least like 5 fits. First of all, make sure none of the brands is Hillstar. If you wear Hillstar, you are a follower.
What's Pretty Wednesday?
So Pretty Wednesday is when so Southern Pretty Wednesday is when you got live music. You basically got students that's business owners on campus setting up their shops like vendors. Bro, you literally like that roll-on oil cologne you can get from the lakefront here in Chicago, bro. It was like a Jamaican vendor on campus. Like they got food trucks, bro. It's live. And when I say black excellence, like Black Queens Forever, Snow Bunnies Never type energy, like Black Queens Forever, Snow Bunnies Never. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, that's what Pretty Wednesday is. I know some schools it's like Monday, but it's just a day where all of the students like. They put their clothes on and everybody come outside. At Southern, it was insane. It's like bumper to bumper. If bumper to bumper traffic were for people, that's what Pretty Wednesday is. Insane.
Okay. I noticed that HBCU, so it's like everybody calls it something different. My sister went to HBCU and they, I know they Wednesdays. I forgot what they called it, but it was something else. But that was when they got dressed. You know, like business attire, like people, you know, shirts and ties, stuff like that. I know Alabama A&M does something like that as well as Morehouse, Spelman, and Clark. They do those. I know Morehouse has it's like a few days out of the week. Some of the kids in the programs they have to dress up every day, depending on your major. Though. Yeah, because when we went on the tour, we saw this guy. It was on Friday. He was dressed up. We was like, "Are you going somewhere?" He was like, "No, this organization I'm in and stuff. We dress up every day. We wear shirts and ties every day." So I was like, "Oh, that's dope." But I do notice that with the HBCUs, it's like a Wednesday. That's the day where you know, students get dressed up, you know, for whatever program or something they in. If you watching this and you go to a HBCU, comment down below what your Wednesday is at your school. If you watch
Chris. So Chris goes to NCCU now, which is a
I thought he went to NCAT.
No. So his cousin goes to NCAT.
Okay.
They go to 2 different North Carolina schools. Okay. He like, bro, it's something in the water, like. He called up KJ, his cousin that go to NK, his name KJ. And when Chris transferred last year. So Chris was like, bro, it was Chris' junior year, basically his junior year, when he transferred to NCCU. And Chris called, he telling me this. He called KJ, he like, bro, are you seeing this? And KJ was like, yes, bro, it's something in the water, like, bro.
What were we seeing?
Bro, talking about females.
Okay.
Bro, when you go to, like, I'm from up north. Yes, I've had relationships before, but, like, down south, you almost can feel the hospitality in the females. It's hoes everywhere. Don't get it mistaken. But when you get a female that, like, comes from a structured family or at least has home training, like, up north, you gonna be searching. Oh, bro, like, Saunders, you don't even know Saunders. That's crazy. But, like, Saunders say searching, like down south, bro, just they energy is so different. Like, I ain't gonna lie, the best I ever met, she definitely from Mississippi. I ain't gonna lie, she's from Mississippi. So if you trying to get married, that's the place to be, yo, bro. Like, somebody like, oh, HBC, like, bro, it don't matter. Like, for me, do a little discernment prayer, you know what I'm saying? Lock in with so and so. If you a hoe, I strongly encourage you to did that, because I have family members that had children in college and it changed the trajectory of their lives. It didn't ruin his life, but it changed the trajectory of his life. So I encourage you to be intentional. Could I have done better personally? Absolutely, but God saved me, because like I said, I'm chosen. And chances are, if you watching this, you may be chosen as well, if what I'm saying is resonating. If you hating like, oh, this nigga think he all that, you probably was one of them regular call niggas. But if this doesn't offend you, or you taking notes and you listening to what I'm saying, like, I'm really speaking game. Like, I'm telling you, it's gonna be an experience. My dorms was perfectly fine. I was only in Jones though. That's not the shared experience apparently, but the The third thing I'd say,
you just had that one roach in the hallway.
What are we doing right now?
I was just, bringing up the roach.
So disregard the roach. That's like one of the very few cons. One of the, in proportion, unrelated cons associated, Tyler pros associated with going to HBCU, because if you going and you want some, I'm a career, blah blah blah, like cool, you go to a PWI. But if you want to enjoy your life and you want to get an education, go to HBCU, because you gonna go. Some people are like, oh, it's not good for you as far as diversity. Like, that's the problem with our communities now. Is, oh yeah, we want to include everybody. Does everybody else want to include us in their culture is the question. If you go to a Ivy League college, are they gonna welcome you, or are they gonna look at you sideways because you got locks in your head? Like Harvard just dismembered their slavery remembrance program. But we want to preach diversity. And
I get what you're saying, but it's two-sided. I definitely get the culture of going to a HBCU. I definitely get the experience of going to a HBCU. But what I don't want people to think is if you don't go to a HBCU, college is not going to be fun. I had a ball in college and did all of the same stuff that you would do at a HBCU because our black people were involved and they stuck together. Yes, I think that black people should go to a HBCU, but yes, I also think that black people need to also learn diversity and know how to carry yourself in a room with different people, which means, and one thing, a lot of things that I don't see at HBCUs, that hopefully this is something that can be implemented, but people need to learn how to code switch. Which means I can't go into an interview, even if it's a black boss, a black CEO. I can't go into that interview talking how I talk to my homie on the phone. Or you a chick talking how you talk to your girls at the word, bitch, bitch, we fin. Or I can't, what up, I think I'm gonna get this job, but you have to learn how to code switch. But one, after HBCU, then what? Because the world is not an HBCU. The United States is not an HBCU. We take up 13% of the population in the United States. So unless you're going to go work for your mom and dad's all black business or your uncles, whoever you have, you're gonna have to get out of here in this workforce. And you're gonna need to know how to talk to people that are not black. You're gonna have to know how to interact with people that are not black. You may work for somebody who is not black. I will tell you this, my worst experiences with bosses have been with black people. My absolute worst. And I'm not using this to down, but I'm using this to be on both sides. I love our HBCUs. I love our culture. We need to know our history. We need to know why we're here. We need to know the founders of this school and why they founded this school, why they made this school, while on HBCU campuses, the founders are buried on the campuses. We need to know those things. We need to understand those things. But we also need to know how to conduct ourselves in the world after you walk across that HBCU stage. And so I feel that people that go to PWIs sometimes maybe have a slight advantage over HBCU graduates in the sense of being able to handle the people out in the world. For 4 or 5 years of your life, you've been at this HBCU. You've been dealing with black people. Now you got a white boss who may not like black people, who may not know how to talk to a black person. So now how do I carry myself? What do I do? Do I go in snapping? Then you lose your job. I go in, I handle it this kind of way. I know who to go talk to. If I have to go above you, that's what I have to do. But so I think it's a double-edged sword when, we just talk about HBCUs, because I just don't, and that's what I tell my students. If you tell me you want to go to HBCU, let's go. We're going to book a trip. We're going to go visit the campus. Let's go see it. But I also want you to walk on a variety of campuses to see what's best for you. A lot of people can't handle HBCUs because they can't focus.
Yeah, you do gotta be.
You have to be focused. You have to be locked in and know what you here for. That's to get your degree. That's to get that piece of paper, and that gives you access when you graduate to positions that people who didn't do what you did may have to work a little bit longer to get the access you have. But you have to be determined, I say, when you go to these HBCUs and even some PWIs. There's some PWIs that are party schools. You have to go in knowing what you're here for. And that's just the biggest thing. I see a lot of my students, not my students, but students in general, they don't make it in the HBCU world because it's everybody want to do stuff. You want to kick it here. Oh, you got to go to that party, go to that party, got to go to that party, got to go to that, got to go to that. One thing I feel like at my campus, we had a nice balance. We had parties. You had the option to go. You had the option not to. But we had the parties. We had, you know what I'm saying, all of that, the Greek parties, I lived next door to a Q. We was on the football team together. Right there at the parties, you know what I'm saying? We had access to all of that. But you had to understand your priorities. Okay, I got to get my good grades and I got to play football. I got to keep my grades up so I can play football. That's who paying for me to get here. You know, and then I'm also dealing with non-black people, some that don't like me, some that do like me. I went to a high school that was at the time predominantly white. It's like 95% black now, but at the time it was predominantly white. I went to a college that was predominantly white.
Oh, Mary.
Yeah, Mary. Yeah. And so now when I come out, I'm able to communicate with people. I'm able to communicate how I can, and it's not a culture shock. A lot of people that come out of HBCU, sometimes it's a culture shock. You've been around just black people, just us, which ain't nothing wrong with it. But like I say, after you walk across that stage, the U.S. is not an HBCU, and now you have to get out there and communicate with people in the world.
So I'm hearing multiple key points. Everything he just said was valid. I want to start there. And I share that because I personally, as you all can see from how I articulate myself, how I recollect things, how I'm breaking it down for you all to understand, and how I'm basically making stuff that I honestly don't care about solution oriented, because if you can't tell, I'm not the party type. But I'm leveraging that sort of information to capture the attention of the people that are in a position that I used to be. I believe that we should implement like mandatory ethics aspect. It don't have to be a whole course, a whole class, but there definitely should be like, I say 30 minutes to an hour of ethics training. I say at least as a part of the prerequisites for the first 2 years, because I already knew how to articulate myself, because my dad is a realtor, having to position himself as a businessman, me seeing him lead by example, me having him in my life. I'm trying not to make this about parenting, because when you talk about your focus and being intentional, like a lot of that is what was instilled within you when you was growing up. But like, I'm very different. I think differently from people my age. So I do my best to articulate my mentality, because I see from other people's experiences that the path a lot of our generation is going down. Now, if you business minded and you steady trying to pick a business model and you trying to execute, one of them things is gonna work. But if you just like everybody else and you just partying, you're going to be check to check, and you're going to be forced to rent, and you're going to hate. I ain't gonna say you're gonna hate life, but you will never like reach your true potential as long as you not tapping into who you are as an individual. So ethics is huge to implement at the HBCUs. As we can see, it's definitely an opportunity for like black-owned businesses to come back. Number one, step it up as far as how you treating your team. Like when you hear about culture, as far as running a company, that's huge. So those are key ways that you can stand out as a black-owned firm, because we honestly need to lean into having black-owned companies offer internships to HBCUs. Now, in order for that to happen, we got to get out of this self-made millionaire mentality and collaborate with the next person, so we can have statewide national brands that are large enough to offer internships to enough individuals to have a real impact. Like, it's literally a full circle thing. Like, I'm not trying to make it a macro thing, because this video is specifically about what I learned HBCUs versus a PWI. But bro, like, it's a full circle thing, and it starts with us. So if you don't take nothing else away from this video, like, be intentional. Learn how to be professional. If you don't understand the phrase code switch and learn how to be professional, you cannot use slang in an interview. And even as you get comfortable with said individuals, you may still not want to show them certain sides of your personality based on what your goal is, because people won't show you. When people show you who they are, believe it. If they change because they see you cool, like, no. That prejudice that they had is something that had been built up until the point of them meeting you. And it's still going to be in the back of their mind, a sense of prejudice, same way we all do. But that's not something that you can change. What you can control is what you decide to be, how you present yourself at all times. So, bro, quick recap. Number one, college is not a scam if you pick the right concentration. That is huge. Number two, definitely know your finances, like understand how everything is structured as far as how your tuition is being paid for, to keep it as simple as possible. Number three, networking is everything. You could go to school and get, like he said, that piece of paper. I can't say, looking at business applications, they like, oh yeah, do you have a bachelor's degree in this and so concentration? Like, if you're going to school, look up the concentrations of the major that you're looking to go into, so you have an idea of the sector, like what your skill set will be, because that'll make a world of a difference when it comes to picking you or the next person that just has a piece of paper because y'all went through school partying. Don't let you have internships where you've already built up a relationship with said employers. So now, even if you don't want to go to this non-black owned company, you may have the knowledge to build your own. A lot of people, well, I just graduated, blah, 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 I don't have the capital. You got access to business professors. If you stay in a metro city like Chicago, I know I'm personally doing a construction program with the Chicago Urban League because that's my lane. I'm intentionally networking with people in the unions. The Urban League, they got complimentary business consulting. Like, instead of I can't because I don't have capital, I can't because I don't know anybody that runs businesses, you have to think, how can I? Nowadays, we got AI. Nowadays, you can literally look up workforce development agencies nearby me. The Chicago Urban League is, I go to the Chicago chapter. It's a New York nonprofit. They got other chapters. So you will only find this sort of information when you put yourself out there, both with the people in your family, maybe your immediate network, not just your family, and look it up. Like, put yourself out there in that way. Get your LinkedIn profile. Get with your business professional. Make sure you dress professionally. Make sure you set it up professionally. Oh, bro. Bro, that's going to make a world of a difference. That's the difference between you being at home with a degree that you feel like ain't working. I know somebody working at Walmart that feel like his degree is not serving him. That's because you didn't do internships. That's because you're not looking in the positions that it's a qualification for you to have the degree that you have. You just in this, it's a scarcity mentality. So break out of that scarcity mentality. That's an honorable mention. Oh, bro. So, So with that said, as always, like he shared, if y'all go to HBCU, drop it down below. And maybe y'all experience if it's positive, you know what I'm saying? This is solutions. So make it solution oriented.
Go to a HBCU, I encourage it.
Bro, that's the kind of code switch you don't want to do. You got to be real. No, I'm just playing. But make sure y'all like and subscribe as well. And man, I pray that y'all have a blessed week and enjoy whatever school you go to.
Whatever school you go to, whether it's Harvard or Princeton, the University of Wisconsin, Howard or Clark or Morehouse or Spelman or NCAT or Atlanta University. Is that even a school? I think it is, sure. Wherever you go, enjoy it and have a ball and get out on campus and be active, do stuff. But remember why you are there, and that is to do your work and walk across that stage. That's all I got. I have nothing else.
But I say, W. Boomer Noti. I'm sorry. All right,
This might be the last time you see Cam. This might be his last episode. Bro, I love nephew, but he about to get his ass beat when I turn this camera off. With that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and tell us what school you go to down below.
Oh, bro. W. Boomer.